Hello and welcome to the Ann Arbor Summer Festival virtual Acro Yoga retreat. I'm Jim Gilligan, this is my wife Cheryl, and our daughter Sabrina. Well, this is a new thing for us. We usually are used to teaching in person. We've taught at the Summer Festival, I think the last 6 years. So welcome to our virtual class.
At Yoga Nature.
At Yoga Nature. We're happy to host you at our home and our yoga studio, Yoga Nature. Don't mind the boats going by in the background. Well, first off, I just want to say that acrobatics, Acro Yoga is a partner practice, and it's as far removed from social distancing as you can be. So you should be, if you're practicing with anyone, it should be with whoever your quarantine mates or partners are. We will be full contact, and good idea to wash your hands first, right? You all know that by now. So Acro Yoga blends the dynamic power of acrobatics and the wisdom of yoga and the loving kindness of the healing arts. And in Acro Yoga or acrobatics, there are 3 roles. There's the base. The base is connected to the earth. There's the flyer. Flyer supported by the base. And there's the all-important spotter. The spotter is responsible for the safety of the base, the flyer, and the spotter. If you're practicing with less than 3 people, then you won't have a spotter. So we'll encourage you to just do some solo practice. We don't want anyone getting hurt. You'll notice we have a mat down, a nice cushy mat. You may not have a mat like this. A good substitute is right in the grass or on a carpeted surface that has some padding. Hard floors can be kind of difficult.
And as always, you want to look at your surroundings wherever you're practicing, just to make sure that if something does go awry, that you have clearance enough for any furniture, any trees or rocks.
Good point. Now during this practice, and again, we're used to watching our students progress through these poses. First off, safe spotting. Secondly, accurate self-assessment. So if you're not feeling strong enough to support someone or to support the pose, if it doesn't feel right, just bring it down and figure it out. And yep, not everyone can do every pose in every role. So what we'll do is our teaching style is we first do a silent demo, and then we do a demo with words, and then we do a spotting demo. And these 3 demos, we'd like you simply to watch. Then we'll have you go ahead and practice, and we'll continue practicing. And while we're practicing and you're practicing, we'll probably call out some refinements. So I guess at this point, we'll go ahead and get started. We're going to do a couple of warm-ups, and the first one is a standing warm-up called chi bounces. So first, and another point is, we're going to show the partner practices, and then we'll also show some practices you can do if you're watching solo. So we'll all be kind of trading off. Chi bounces, we're standing face to face. We're about 3 feet apart, maybe 4 feet apart, so that our arms can be extended. We're palm to palm. And then we're simply bending our elbows. We're not folding at the waist. Anything to add? Okay. Okay. So before you start, if you're practicing solo, pretend,
No, you can just continue on.
well, pretend I'm a wall. Pretend I'm a wall. Someone do a chi bounce and I'm just a wall. So you can practice this against a tree. Well, it's harder being a wall than you might imagine. So you can still get the workout practicing against the wall. So let's go ahead and do 30 seconds worth of chi bounces.
Do you want to come in and chi bounce, Sabrina? Okay, so you stand there.
Yep.
And because of the height difference, I'm going to come down on one knee and stabilize with the other one. Knee stacked right over the ankle. Sabrina's going to step back till her arms are nice and long, and she can separate her legs just a little wider than the hips. Hi. And then bend the elbows. Ready? Bend. And extend. Bend. And extend. Bend. And extend.
Nice.
Nice job. Perfect.
All right, 15 more seconds. Come on, you guys.
Do do do.
15 more seconds at home. And at the end, you can give a little pop. Full extension. 3, 2, 1. All right, good job. Shake it out. Shake it all out. That feels good. Some snap, crackle, pops. All right, we're gonna do another warm up. So that's a nice warm up for the arms and a little bit of core because we were holding our shape. We weren't bending at the waist, staying nice and straight. This next one will be on the ground, and it's always nice if your partner and you come down to the ground, satellites together. These are called satellites. Now we're facing each other. One partner's legs are inside the other partner's legs, and our feet are about mid-calf. And then we're going to just relax back on our elbows, point toes, straight legs, elevate, and make tiny circles. First in one direction, and then in the other direction. And if you're doing this home alone, you can do it yourself. So we're going to do this for 30 seconds. You guys want to do it together? Okay. So 30 seconds. Once they're lined up,
A little bit further down.
feet are,
A little bit further down. That way.
yeah. Now relax back onto your elbows or your forearms.
Right onto your elbows.
There you go.
Now point your toes.
All right.
Lift.
I'll start the clock. 30 seconds.
Nice job. Woo! Now the other way. Now every which way.
Still got 20 seconds.
Oh, there's still 20 seconds. Come on in. Woo. Good job.
And
This is
10,
good.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5,
Oh,
4,
no.
3, 2, 1. Good job.
Nice job. Come on, Samantha.
Okay. The first pose we're going to do requires each partner to plank. This first pose really doesn't need a spotter. So if you're working in pairs, this will be a good pose for you. I'm going to let my flyer down so she can find her plank position.
Oh, I'm just gonna
Okay,
come onto my knees.
and move towards the head of the mat a little bit more. Thank you. So our flyer's finding a nice plank position. Wrists are right under the shoulders, elbows are locked. Nice alignment from the shoulders through the heels. And then we're going to do a plank tightness drill. So my flyer's going to lift one leg. I'm cupping it with one hand, then my flyer's going to press in to lift the other leg. She's going to squeeze her legs together, point her
Walk
toes.
forward.
Okay.
Thank you.
And then we're just going to give a little wiggle. And just do this for like 5-10 seconds and then down. Okay? Let's demo it again. I'll fly it. Now first off, on the plank, you notice that it's a lot harder to hold a plank here. So in acro, we're looking for bone stacking. We're also not bent arms. I'm actually rotating my elbows so that I've got that nice straight alignment. Okay. All right, at home, go ahead and try it for 15 seconds per partner.
You
Want to do it?
do your plank. Nice job. Lift one leg. Nice job. Next one. Perfect.
All right, 15 seconds. Here we go.
Nice.
Lift your butt up.
You want to do one more try?
All right.
Nice.
All right. So now we're pretty well warmed up. We've warmed up our arms, our legs, and our core. So what we're going to do is a pose called plank on plank. And again, this one, you don't need a spotter. Just listen to each other. This is a great time for building communication, both verbal and nonverbal communication. Let's face this way. So, I'm going to come into my sturdy plank, and you can take a rest.
And then I'm going to come in and place cupped hands onto the ankles. I'm going to lift one leg and place my toes. And the toes are going to be placed just about at the shoulder blade. I'm going to draw from my core as I draw my weight down into my hands and extend my other leg coming into a plank again on top of this plank.
Yay!
Yay. Coming down, you just reverse it. Set the leg and then come right back up through just so that you're not collapsing on top of your base.
This is one of the very elemental acro poses. Sabrina, do you want to try it?
Mm-hmm.
All right, Cheryl, do you want to play
Okay.
it? Okay. Okay, come right over here. Put your hands right there. Awesome. Ta-da!
Very nice.
What happens if you do fall? You just gently lower to the ground and collapse. Ah, no problems.
Good job, Dina.
All right, everyone had time to practice that at home? Good.
So a couple things you want to remember always is just moving really slowly. Once your plank is down there, you don't have to drop and immediately swing the leg up, getting momentum. You can really stabilize yourself, let the leg swing back in place. That way you have 3 points of contact ready to support your other weight when you lift that final leg.
Also, another thing to think about is, will you come into a plank this way?
Sure.
So, if my feet and ankles are here, my flyer's got to have the hands really close together. So it's helpful if the base's feet are approximately shoulder width for the flyer. Let's do it in this direction, just so we can show that. Just for a second. How's that?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Nice. I like how you move so nice and slow. Go ahead and bring it down. So notice how we're always trying to find that alignment, whether we're doing our own practice or we're lining up with a partner. And you'll notice when we were ready to come down, one of us just said down, and we came down gracefully. One thing I see a lot with beginner acro students is they tend to take the pose to their limit, and then instead of gently coming down, they collapse. And not only is that dangerous, but it doesn't improve your practice. So know what your limits are, and don't take it to the limit. Find that sweet spot, and then just say down and bring it down with control. It'll lengthen your practice. All right, the next thing that I want to do is I call it knob. We teach it in the stand-up paddleboard class. It's that one where one person's in tabletop, the other one's kneeling. So tabletop on tabletop. So let's start this way. So you're gonna kneel with your knees right about my kidneys. And your hands on my shoulders. Awesome. And then you can press your knees in a little bit more. Yeah, there you go. There, now start lifting up a little bit. So you're just balancing like that. Your hands lift up, lift your torso up. Awesome. How does it feel?
Feels good.
Good. Notice we're checking in with each other. And now instead of me just moving, I'm going to let my partner know, okay, now I'm going to lift my hands. So I'd like you to just tip back a little bit. Ta-da! So we actually do this on stand-up paddle boards. It's kind of fun. And down. And now we'll do it from the side view.
Sure. You can fly it right here. Step to the side. There you go. Put your hands on the shoulders first. What you want to be careful of as you're coming into the stacked table is that you're not gripping onto your base's neck. You have the shoulders cupped. And that's where your hands and thumbs stay. The thumbs don't loop around into the neck.
And
your knees a little bit down.
Yeah.
There you go.
So now notice I don't have a flat back here. I'm actually making a little valley. The flyer's knees settle right into that valley.
Nice.
And it actually feels kind of nice. You want to start lifting a little bit, Sabrina?
So what you do is you just lift up your arms and lean back so you're just sitting on your knees.
Yeah.
Sit up with your tush lifted a bit on your knees. There you go.
And now lean back a little more, and you're going to help me.
So you're going to lean back this
sit
way.
up.
And then Jim is going to sit up. And I'm right here.
So it would be really hard for me to maintain this shape, but the flyer is actually helping to lift me. And down.
Good job. Nice.
Now we are at the point where we want a spotter, so now we'll do the spotting demo. So will you base?
Sure.
Sabrina, will you fly again? So in one moment, before we go, so we want to keep our space clear. Doesn't seem like much, but falling on a water bottle can really hurt, or someone could not know it's there and step on it and fall. Okay, Sabrina. Now we're doing what's called close spotting. So notice my hands are on the hips the whole time. I can also coach. So let's bring this knee just out a little bit. There, not quite that far. There. Now can you lift? Nice. Now my hands are still on the hips, not super tight. And then can you start lifting, Cheryl? Lean back a little bit. Awesome. All right, and then bring it down. Cool. All right, you want to play with it a little bit longer while our students are playing with it at home?
Sure.
Okay. Actually, let me fly Sabrina. And actually, let me fly you and Sabrina's spot. What do you think about that?
Oh, you know what? That doesn't seem like a really good idea just because she can't hold either of our weights.
Oh. So we need to think about proportions. Okay, well Sabrina, will you get into a tabletop position, please? Okay, and then will you spot?
Oh,
No,
sure.
Tabletop. Tabletop,
your
hands
knees
and
down.
knees. Hands and knees.
Knees down.
Just like your
Knees
mom
on
just
the
was.
mat. Perfect, just like that.
Okay, so Cheryl can catch me because she's really strong, so I'm going to fly on Sabrina.
Oh, wait.
What?
She's super strong. However, again, proportionality right now, she cannot hold this weight.
Good
So,
idea.
we're just going to be smart about that. And Jim's going to be the base.
All right, let's face this way again.
Sabrina, would you like to fly? So come over here, so you're coming around from the side. There you go. Just slow it on down. There you go.
Can you move your right knee to the outside a couple inches? Yeah. We don't want to be on the spine. Awesome.
All right. And then as a spotter, I've got my hands right here, right at her hips. I'm not spotting up here close to her head or shoulders. Again, that's not where you want to grip and grab someone. You want to be able to support their weight in any direction, or in her case, even just lifting directly off. All right.
Sabrina, you want to start lifting up?
Start flying? Nice.
Now,
Good job.
when you're spotting,
Gotcha.
you have to be ready to catch someone because sometimes things get a little wonky. Down.
Ah!
Awesome.
Good job.
So it's the spotter's responsibility to have the safety of the flyer and the base in mind.
Yeah.
And of course, if you're practicing at home, you can try finding that balance. It's actually way more difficult when you don't have that weight and that second person balancing and helping you up. Awesome. All right. We are going to now do another pose. You've probably seen this one before. And we're going to do a silent demo, a demo with words, and then our spotting demo. And we're going to do a lifted body cast. Okay, now with words. Let's do it this way. Okay. So I've got my arms extended by my sides and my hands long. I want to just feel my flyer's toes. And then I'm turning my feet out like a V. What's that called in ballet? Is it like a plie or something?
Oh, yeah, no.
No, what is that?
It's a position. I don't know. I
Oh,
don't
okay.
do ballet.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm making a V. And I'm placing the inside of my foot right below the hip crease, right on top of the thigh. I'm presenting my hands, and then I'm helping my flyer into a downward facing dog. I'm taking my hands, thumbs are not out, thumbs are locked in, sliding them right to the fronts of the shoulders, and then simply extending arms and legs. Notice the lock. My arms aren't bent, my knees aren't bent. We're straight. We've got that alignment we worked on in our plank drills. And then to come down, we simply say down. My responsibility is to keep the flyer's head up and help the flyer's feet come to the ground. Okay? And now for the spotting demo.
Can you step over here and fly this one, please? So you're going to step up. There you go. You're there.
Your wrist. You're gonna,
To the wrist.
because of proportions, I'm going to place Sabrina's hands right on my shoulders.
Nice.
And close spotting. So right on. Okay, and I'd actually like you more under the chest and the back. Yeah. Yep. Now, yep, as a spotter, you can help coach with alignment. What else are you doing, spotter?
I'm not only spotting by holding underneath and on top with my hands, I'm also making sure that she's not elevating her heels up, tipping the whole top end over. I'm using my hip and my leg stable underneath me to also help guide, make sure that they're not moving too far off track. And then over on this other leg, I've got it again stacked nicely over that ankle so that knee is not at risk either.
And sometimes it gets a little wonky, so if we start going this way, we get pulled back. So that spotter is right there. This is called close spotting. And if it really goes bad, down. Oh, awesome, good job. All right, so let's go ahead and play with that at home a little bit, and we'll show you some variations. If you're practicing solo, can you demo a downward facing dog? There you go. So if you're practicing at home, you can do your down dog variations if you're solo. What? Okay. So this is your turn to practice. Flyer, what are you doing?
I'm making sure that my toes are staying nice and low to the ground, so my legs aren't just kind of flopped over. There's actually a little bit of pull down with the toes that makes the upper leg taut as well.
What happens if you let your feet go to the sky?
If they go to the sky, it comes really hard for my base to hold on.
Yep, because right now she's making a little shelf. I'm going to lift right here. She's making a little shelf right here. You can't see it, but by keeping those toes pressed towards the ground, if the feet fly up to the sky, do that again. Now I don't have that shelf, so I start sliding off. What else?
Bringing the toes together when you're coming into Baddha Konasana. Can you spin me back? Thank you. Toes will come in, and again, they're still pulling down. They're not lifting up into, bringing those toes barely touching. So if you can't get the toes all the way together, just let those legs hang on out and over. Same thing with the arms. It feels good to have it there. You can also take it behind the head. The other thing you want to be careful about is if you're putting it behind the head, that you are not thrusting your chin towards the chest. You're keeping your head and neck out of it. It's just some place to kind of relax into the arms.
Now we showed you that we're doing this with the spotter. Of course, this demo we don't have our spotter, but You're always doing this with a spotter, but as the base, I'm also the spotter, the secondary spotter. And what I mean is, the primary goal here is to keep the flyer's head off of the ground. So if we start going down, and let's say I start to collapse, I do not collapse my arms because we don't want the flyer falling to the ground. So if it starts to go down, we just say down. No problem.
Nice job.
All right, will you just get that timer so I can see
sure.
it again? And, all right. How's everyone doing? Raise your hand if you're doing great. Oh wait, I can't see you anyway, so. All right. We've got about 30 more minutes. We're gonna go into another pose. Somewhat similar. You've probably seen this one before. It's called front plank, and another good reason why we did those plank poses. So we'll do the silent demo first. Okay, front plank. We'll do the talking demo. We'll do a side view and a front view. So again, I'm the base. I'm in L base position. I've got my arms long by my side so that I can just feel my flyer's toes with my fingers. We do that because the distance matters. If my flyer's too far away, it's really hard to get into. We'll demo that in a little bit. Now this time, I'm not Ving my feet out. My feet are parallel, my toes on the lower abdomen, and my heels on the upper thigh. I'm just gonna touch and then come back. So you can see I'm letting my flyer down gently down until we connect hands. Flyer, what are you doing?
I am holding my shape, so I'm not folding to receive or bending at my knees to get there. Instead, I'm holding out my arms at their full length. I'm trusting that my base is there, and I'm allowing his legs to guide my body into the hand connection.
Once our hands connect, I simply press up through my heels. Flyer, what are you doing?
As he's pressing up through the heels, I'm pushing my toes away from me. So I'm really pointing those toes out, engaging the core and the upper legs and glutes.
When we come down, we keep our arms straight and strong. I simply bend my knees and we say down. Okay, now this view will give you some other pointers. You can feel my flyer's toes. Notice my feet are parallel here. A lot of bases tend to kind of do this or this when they're parallel. So in other words, my heel is right in alignment with the femur, and my toes are about a third in on the abdomen. When I extend my arms, I've got my fingers pointing to the sides. When my flyer, fingers face forward, fingers face forward. So this is what's called reverse hand-to-hand grip. We'll show you a wrong hand grip, and this is how a lot of beginners do it, and that's So if you do this, the problem is when it's time to release, if you start falling, you tend to grip and you can break a finger. So we're doing bases, fingers facing to the sides, flyers, fingers face forward. Now, we're just doing some touches here. My flyer's doing a really nice job of holding the shape, and we're just getting used to each other. And then, does that feel good?
Mm-hmm.
Next time, when our hands touch, I'll press up through my heels. Flyers chest up, heels up, look up, really locking that position. And notice the alignment of our hands and elbows and shoulders. We're not out here, we're not out here, we're right under. So there's this great platform to press up from. My flyer could do push-ups right here if she was so inclined.
And once again, there's not a death grip. My fingers are nice and loose. I have this whole platform. I can have them curled if I'd like, but I'm not squeezing in and really cutting off circulation for my base.
All right, now for the spotting demo. You want to fly, Sabrina?
Sure.
Good.
You want sideways?
Yep. This way. All right, Sabrina, you want to fly on the front bird? Okay. Come on up.
Good.
Now, without interfering, I'm going to got my hands at the back and the belly, right here. And my hands are on. This is called close spotting. Okay, straight arms. Lift your heels up, 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 up. Look up.
Breathing.
Straight arms.
Push with your
Press
hand.
in.
There you go.
Straight
nice.
arm. So I'm also coaching, but I'm right here. So if this starts to go down, uh-oh, nobody gets hurt. Okay? Thank you. All right, well, you guys are playing with that at home. We'll play with that at home, or here at our home, Yoga Nature. And you're not spotting.
Right. So if you're not spotting, you have to step away. Thank you.
Flyer's fingers face forward. I'm actively pointing my toes. I'm squeezing my legs together. I'm lifting my chest up. I'm looking up. I'm pressing my hips into my base's feet.
And your arms nice and straight.
So, good. All right. Sabrina, do you want to fly? Okay. Heels up, chest up, look up.
Long legs, like toes. There you go.
There you go. Awesome. See, it's hardly any weight here now. In fact, Sabrina could swing her arms back because she's got a good spotter. Look up. Awesome. Can you do a bow?
Yeah, you can.
Want to do a bow?
So bend to the knee. And we'll save that.
Okay.
All right.
And down. Okay.
All right.
Awesome. Sabrina, will you hit the timer so we can see the time? Thanks. Now, as I mentioned,
Like that?
there's another component besides the yoga and the acrobatic, and that's the therapeutic. So the flying Thai massage and the grounded Thai massage. So we're going to take one of the poses that we just showed you, and we're going to show you how to transform it into a really lovely stretch and what we call flying Thai massage. silent demo. We start with Mukta Baddhikasana and then transition to Super Yoga. All right, now for our speaking demo. You already remember this first part. I'm turning my feet out at a V, placing them at the hip crease, just below the hip crease on top of the thigh. Feel my flyer's toes. Helping my flyer into that downward dog, but instead of going all the way down, I'm actually going to have my flyer interlace fingers and make pointer fingers. And then I'm going to allow the flyer's forearms to settle onto my forearms. And then simply press up with the legs. I'm getting a really nice stretch in my hamstrings and my calves. Bases, if you feel discomfort in your hamstrings or have a hard time straightening your legs, you can place a bolster or a rolled up mat, a little cushion under your hips. That will help tremendously. Flyer, what are you doing?
I'm enjoying a wonderful therapeutic stretch. I'm letting my feet and toes hang heavy. Again, I'm not trying to lift them skyward. I'm holding my shape only in that I'm holding my hands in that interlaced position. But even here, I'm not super engaging my core. I'm really supported at every point. I am letting my head dangle here. I can give it a little nod or a little shake. Get some extra traction and length through those upper vertebrae.
Okay, and from here, we can actually find that reverse hand-to-hand position. Scoop up and down. Awesome. Okay, Sabrina, you want to fly Super Yogi?
Yeah.
Feel your toes. And interlace your fingers. There you go.
There you go.
And can you bend your elbows? There you go.
And you can relax your head.
Spotter, what are you doing?
Right now I have hands on. I have hands on underneath and at the hips. As I was adjusting through the neck, I was making sure that I was holding the hip. And the hip that I'm holding is the one that's outside, because again, this way I can bring that flyer into my body and use the stability of the earth beneath me as my friend here to help me out. Otherwise my arm is underneath, so I can again bring that same level of support to the flyer.
Oh, down.
If need be. Woo! Or I can scoop her up. That way too.
All right, well, let's play with this for maybe 5 minutes. And if you watch us, we'll probably do some variations. If you're at home, if you're practicing alone, you can find some nice therapeutic poses like Shavasana, or what other poses?
Do you want to come in and fly again? She would like to fly again. Oh. it feel on your shoulders? Is it okay? Or is it too much on your shoulders? Okay.
Notice how the spotter's checking in, making sure that the flyer isn't hyperextending any joints and that everything feels good.
And you can extend those arms again. Nice. Give those shoulders a little rest. And open the fingers up.
Fingers, and let's find this, and I'll press up.
Push it up the back. Nice.
And down. Awesome.
Very nice. All right, so step away from where my feet are going to be swinging, please. Thank you very much. Sabrina, now my feet are going to be swinging this way. Thank you.
Okay, so interlace fingers, pointer fingers. Ta-da! All right. What's your favorite flying tie pose? Do you have a favorite flying tie pose?
No, but you know what I really enjoyed every time is just the hip shake and hanging the hips over the legs, like just that release through the sacrum and the
sacral
joint
flow?
is just so, yeah.
All right, are we ready for some
So
grounded
nice.
tie now?
Sure.
Okay, so this last pose that we did was a flying tie massage, and looks like we've got about 10 more minutes. So Cheryl and I will trade off and show you some grounded tie massage. And yeah, so here we are.
Sabrina, do you want to sit here with me? Thank you.
Actually, I'll start here. All right. So this is a nice little release on the lumbar spine. It's called the sacral float. So I've got, well, we'll start from that Shavasana position. Take my hands and scoop under the heels. Now notice I'm not folding at the waist. I'm lifting with the legs, walking forward. And then I bring the ankle bone right about in line with my belly button. I'll kneel my knee that's closest to the head. I'll kneel on that knee. I've got a nice 90-degree angle on my other leg, and I'll simply drape the lower legs over my thigh. If I bring the feet one on top of the other, notice what happens to the hips when I press down. There's actually an elevation there. And then you can actually, I'm bringing the movement here with just very gentle rocking of my hips. Is there anything else I can do for you? That feel good?
That feels great.
Okay. Sometimes you'll be working where the giver, I'm the giver, this is the receiver. There might be some proportion differences where the receiver has longer legs than the giver. So if I can't elevate the hips, I can actually come up into a tiptoe and then get that elevation. And while we're at it, if we'd like to, we can make little hooks with our hands. Just do some trap pulls here. And some compression in that little valley below the shoulder. Come out of this, supporting the feet and the legs, standing up, and then we can take it a little bit further. I can spread the legs, bring one foot so that the toes are close to my partner. My other foot is back, so I've got good forward back stabilization. Then I can internally rotate my receiver's feet and just hook them behind me and then just rock back. Release, and then just do some gentle swings all the way down. Again, bending at the knees, placing the feet, 3 energy swipes. Give us another 5 minutes or so.
Yeah. Sabrina, you want to come down for a second? You worked hard as a flyer today. Is that where you're going to be? Okay. So what also feels nice, and again, if you're working with someone who's a little smaller, you can come down onto your knees and get the same effect as a taller person who's standing, is taking the little hand, or taking your fingers, bringing them together, or using tiny little nonviolent fists and just tapping the feet. Getting that little tap in. It feels really good. You can twinkle the toes.
Totally got haired.
And then walking away, again, I'm staying kneeling to do that same thing. Giving the legs a little swing before I step over to this side. Place her knees wide over mine. And I got you over this side. Nice. Set your knees down. Another thing your arms onto the forearms and just give a little slight pull back. And that feels really nice too through the spine. Another thing that you can do that feels really good is when the feet do set down gently onto the mat, you rotate the toes slightly out and just slide the palms right down under the heels. I've got long arms here, and I'm just giving a slight little release of pressure down my arms into her feet. Does that feel okay? And you just walk the palms out the feet, and then back in. Jim, would you like some leg love?
I would like some leg love. Thank you so much. Are we facing this way or the other way?
Yeah, that was fine.
Yeah.
I know, right? Cool. So once again, walking up, just placing the heels, letting the soles of the feet go skyward, giving those soles a little bit of tap. And you can tap in a variety of ways, just making sure you get all the edges of the foot, outer blade, inner blade, up and down. And you can even get into the toes. That's so nice. And coming down again, letting my knees bend. I'm maintaining again that nice, strong, versatile goddess pose. Placing my forearms down onto, so I'm in a little squat here. And then just leaning my weight back. And you can tell that your receiver likes this if they're nodding yes with their head. Swinging the legs. Also do that same palm walk up the calf muscles. Just being mindful that you're not moving too fast, that you're not just dumping your weight in. Calf muscles might be sore.
Right. Well, I don't know about you, but I feel relaxed. Well, folks, thanks for joining us here at Yoga Nature. Again, this is Sabrina and Cheryl, and this is Samantha, and I'm Jim. And we love teaching Acro Yoga, and we hope you enjoyed our virtual class. It was a whole new experience for us, and I must say it was a wonderful experience. We hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day, and namaste. That's a wrap.